Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another State of the Market here ending December of 2021. Hope everybody continuing to stay safe. What a crazy 2021 was, right? We 2020 is a lot better for every different way. Thank all our clients at us with all their selling and all their buying needs for 2021. It means a lot. We helped 23 families achieve their goals for 2021. So this year, we're going to do things a little different. We're starting off, we've had a little bit of technical difficulty over the last couple hours trying to get our Facebook Zoom live up to everybody. But I think we finally have it all figured out. I was watching a little bit of TV the other day, and I was watching a show, and they were talking about Merv Griffin. And Merv Griffin was asked, what makes for a great TV game show? And he answered, audience participation. So we're rolling out a brand new format for 2022, and it's going to be for audience participation. We're going to have all kinds of tabs open, and we're going to show you some different slides, and we're going to be able to get you guys dialed in a little bit better on our like a PowerPoint. So I'm going to be talking in the background while I open up some of these tabs. So it's going to be for a much better experience for everybody. Again, for everybody, and education and information is key and power, right? So we want all of our sellers and buyers to be the most educated people when we get to the closing table, right? So what I want to do is I want to start right off and get right into it. And I want to open up this tab over here and share with you. This is right off of the MLS, and we've gone through these quadrants before. We've got days on market, we've got active listings, we've got closed listings, and median sales price. And normally I was holding up the grease board and I was turning it around sideways and whatnot, but this is much, much better, and it's much more interactive. So I hope you guys really enjoy the new format. So let's get right into it. So the end of December for the median sales price was $595,000. As you can see that there, December of 21. But what happened last month in November, right? It was the first time we broke 600,000 as a median sales price. But then look what happened in December. We dropped 5,000. Okay. Let's hit the next slide here, and that's going to be. Let's see here. Closed sales. So for the end of December, we closed 448 sales. In November, we like to go back 3 months, right? I can take you guys back the whole year if you wanted to, but it's a little bit too much information. So we did 448 in December. November was 465, and October was 475 units. So we're slipping a little bit in December on the units. Again, it's just because low inventory, time of year, that type of thing. So the next thing we want to take a look at is the percentage of list to sales price. We've talked about this before, guys. So this is when you put your house on the market, say for $100, how much am I going to actually get for the house? 100% would be $100. During the height of the market, you can see back here in May, the sellers were getting 102% over asking. In June, it was 103. In July, it slipped a little at 102. And then it's been going down a little bit over time. And it brings us right over here to December, which is 100%. So what this means is if you put your home on the market for $100, there's a very, very good chance you're going to get $100 for it, 100% of asking price. Now, are houses going over asking? Absolutely. I've been seeing it time and time again. There was a house the other day I looked at for $699,000 on Hyannis, and it did $773,000. So examples like that are still happening for good, clean properties that have the 3 Ps. They got the right price, they got the right presentation, and they got the right promotion. All right. So there we are on percentage of list price is coming out about 100%. So let's take a look at Let's go to active listings. Let's see here. Let's go to days on market. Yeah, let's go to days on market. So this is the factor that lets everybody know how many days on market their house will take before it sells. So look at this back here in March and April of 2020, right? The average was about 68 days on the MLS. Scott Zano Realty Group was averaging about 50 days back then. The average Keller Williams agent was about 98 days, and the average MLS agent was averaging about 134 days. So this is back in 2020. So the average days on market was 68. Then COVID came along, you can see here, and the days on market we just want to go to the next slide there. Yeah, days on market. So so the days on market just kept dropping as the houses kept selling faster and faster and faster. You can see here, January, February, March, April. And that brings us for the last 3 months, the average days on market in December, we ended up at 11. So we've been hovering at 11. November was 10, which is exorbitantly low. And October was also about 9 days on market. Your house sell in 11 days? I think it will. Again, if it's priced right, if it's promoted right, and it's positioned right in the market, it should sell. I've seen houses go on the market on Wednesday, do the open house thing, Saturday, Sunday, and they're closed, and the seller's made a decision on Monday. So that would be, maybe a total of 5 days. But right now we're averaging about 11 days. Unbelievable time to still list your home. If you're thinking about selling your home, please give us a call at 508-566-0051 or shoot me an email at sjzano@gmail.com. All right. So those are the 4 quadrants that I wanted to share with you guys today. I wanted to show you the homes for sale too. That was one of the quadrants right here. So this tells us how many listings are on the market. So I want you to see something really, really important. Back here, because, I don't make these numbers up. These are straight off of the MLS. And it's really important that we are 100% transparent. And you guys know exactly what's going on with the market. So if you own real estate, this video is for you. If you're thinking about selling real estate or you're thinking about buying real estate, this video is for you. So right here, we're in March and April. Look at this. March of 2020, right before COVID, 1,995 homes for sale. Okay. Then April came. It dropped a little in 1985. Then May, it dropped again in 1978. And then COVID came right in here. Look at this. Boom, 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 boom. Right down. 1,100, 1,000, 800, 700, and then 500. I thought 500 was going to be the plateau, but no, it wasn't. We hovered off a little bit in March of 21. June, it hyped up a little bit to about 700. But take a look at this. The end of December, okay? 382 properties for sale. 382 properties for sale. In November, we had 521 properties. So since November to December, we've dropped, 521, 382, I don't know, about 175 homes. So it dropped again for December of 382 homes for sale. So if you're seriously thinking about selling your home, please consider putting it on the market. We have a lot of buyers who are really, really serious and motivated, and they want to buy a piece of property. There's not a lot to look at. So if you're thinking about putting your home on the market, please reach out to us. We'd be happy to help you, and we can get your home up and running and on the market in about 24 hours. So the next slides that I want to get into are a little deeper. And this is from one of the different podcasts that I listen to and different reports. And it's called KCM. So I want to get into KCM. I got some very, very cool slides for you guys. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these slides, but I do want to go over with them because it is the end of the year. And a lot of people are saying, hey, Scott, what's going to happen next year? Okay. And what my prediction is, this is just my prediction, my opinion, is inventory is still going to remain low. There are a lot of people down south and whatnot, and that on vacation and put their houses away for the winter, and those will come back on the market. But I think that Inventory is still going to remain low, and I think interest rates are going to go up. In fact, they've already gone up, and I'm going to share that with you right now. Can I just grab that slide? Yeah. So in November, I don't have a slide for the interest rate on this one, and I'm just reading off the clipboard here. November of 2021, the interest rate was 3.65, super low rate, right? December, last month, it dropped down to 3.11. Okay. Now, interest rates, in my opinion, from what I see and what I read, we're going to go to about 4% at the end of December in 2022. That's what I've been told. Here it is, January already of 2022, in the average 30-year fixed rate, 3.53. Okay, so it's already gone up 0.4 of a point since December. So my advice would be to you is try not to wait any longer, because as the interest rates go up, your buying power goes down. Does that make sense? Okay. So every time the interest rate goes up 1 point, your buying power drops 10%. So if you're looking at a $500,000 house and the interest rate goes up a point, you're now looking at a $450,000 house. All right. That makes sense? All right, I want to get into these slides with you because they're super cool, and then we'll end it for the month. We want to thank you guys so much for joining and participating in this state of the market for the ending December 2021 for Barnstable County. So let's get right into it. I want to get into most people. When do most people list most listings come on the market? Typically, you can see my cursor there. Typically, everybody wants to put their house on the spring, right? They're down south, they're vacationing, or they're up north skiing. January, February, March, boom, they put the house on April, May, June, right? Those are the 3 lit months that most people put their homes on the market. Not this year. This year, our spring market's going to be here, January, February, March. So if you're thinking about listing your property, now is the time. All right. So home sellers have historically moved when something in their lives has changed: new baby, marriage, divorce, or new job. The pandemic has impacted everyone, and for many, this became an impetus to sell and make a housing trade. So that's why housing's going to be coming on the market sooner this year rather than later. All right. The pandemic likely spurred occupants to shorten their home stay as tenure in the home decreased 8 years from 10 years, according to the report. This is the largest single year change in home tenure since NAR began collecting data. So what they're saying is people are not staying in their homes as long. It used to be 10 years, and now it's down to 8. All right. Then I want to get into today's homeowners are staying in their house an average of 8 years. So here's the data on that. You can see here between the low 80s, right up until probably 2009, the average person was keeping their home about 6 years. Then it went up to 7 and 8 in the early 2010s, and then it spiked here about 2013 up to about the 2020. People are staying in the house about 10 years, and now it just slightly, with the new data, it just dropped to 8 years. Okay. The pandemic has delayed plans for many Americans, and homeowners looking to move on to the next stage of life are no exception. Recent survey data suggests the majority of prospective sellers are actively preparing to enter the market this winter, which brings us back to the other slide that I had you on with the earlier list date versus waiting until April, May, or June. All right. Majority of sellers entering the market in the next year that plan to list in the next 6 months by Realtor.com. 65% of those sellers are planning on listing. All right. 93% have already taken steps towards listing their home, including working with an agent. So they're doing research, and all the different algorithms on different sites are all calculating this data. And so there's a lot of people out there that are looking to prepare. 93%, that's awesome. And then 36% have reached the value of their home and others in the neighborhood. They've researched their data and have started making repairs, decluttering, and starting to fix up early versus waiting. All right. I want to get into the interest rates real quick. We talked about them earlier. Interest rate update. can see the mortgage rate update. So it's funny when people say, you know, the interest rates are low, and you know, if they go up a little bit, you know, they get a little nervous. But take a look at some of these interest rates back in the 80s. Well, this one here goes back to 2020. Let's just go with this slide here. So 3.7, and you can see it was down in 2021. It was as low as 2.7. And this one here for the end of December was 3.1. All right, that's a 30-year fixed rate, guys. All right. Then I want to go to slide 17, which gives the projections. So again, this is information that I want to share with you that I'm not just pulling out of the sky, and it's 100% transparent. So here's some of the predictions of some of the bigger players. So Freddie Mac is stating in 2020, first quarter will be 3.4. It's already at 3.5. Second quarter, 3.5, 3.6, and then ending at 3.7. Fannie Mae saying, hey, first quarter will be 3.2. They're already a little lean on that because we're already at 3.5, 3.2 on the second quarter, 3.3, and then ending at 3.4. MBA, 3.3, 3.5, 3.7, ending at 4. National Association of Realtors, 3.3, 3.5, 3.7, ending at 3.7. And then the average of all four, first quarter will be 3.3, which is a little light. We're already at 3.5, 3.4 second quarter, 3.55 for third quarter, and then ending at 3.70. Okay. There's a little interest rate background for you there. I do want to quickly jump to slide 20, months of inventory. So we always want to determine what kind of market do we have? Do we have a buyer's market or a seller's market? Okay. So predominantly in the early 90s, it was a seller's market, and then it jumped. You see here, 6 and 10. It jumped to a buyer's market, and then it went back to today to a seller's market. So what's a buyer's market? Well, how do you consider a buyer's market, Scott? If you got less than 7 months inventory, that's a buyer's market. If you've got between 6 and 7 months worth of inventory, that's a neutral market. Today, with less than inventory, with the low inventory and less than 6 months of inventory, that's a seller's market, right? I'm going to go to the next slide here and just show you something. A couple of people that I've worked with and some buyers, they say, we're going to wait until the prices come down, and then we're going to jump back into the market. This slide here, if any of the slides are going to impact or make any difference on whether you keep the course and buy something now or wait, this is the slide you want to pay attention to. So this is a home price expectation for 2021 in 2022, okay? 111,285 would be your gains over the next 5 years if you were to buy a house in January for $391,000, and then 413, it would go to 430, 445, and 461. Those are over the next 10 years. Okay. So a gain of 111,000. So here it is, 111,285 potential growth in household wealth over the next 5 years, based solely on increased home equity if you purchased a $350,000 home a year ago. So if you bought a home a year ago for $350,000, what they're saying is you're going to gain about $111,000 in equity in the next 5 years. So by 2026, okay? Does that make sense? So waiting on the sidelines for the prices to come down, according to this slide, doesn't make sense because you're leaving $111,000 on the table, right? All right, let's get to the next slide. I want to talk to you guys about slide 41, which is this one right here. This one. So this is the amount of foreclosures and just percentage of distressed properties. So here we are, you know, people are saying, well, you know, I'm going to wait for the market to crash. I'll wait for the market to crash. The market's not going to crash because we have low inventory, low interest rates. So A lot of people want to buy homes and they want to fix them up and they want to flip them, or they want to buy short sales, or they want to buy foreclosures. And that's fine. That's a great market to be in. Okay. But I want to show you what's going on is there is only 1% of the market of distressed property sales. Okay. Distressed sales, foreclosures and short sales represented less than 1% of the sales in October. Okay. So there's not a lot of those floating around. I did a search the other day. There was 2 on the MLS, and they were both grossly overpriced. Okay, they were bank-owned properties here. So I wanted to show you that one just to kind of let you know what's going on with distressed properties, and that we're not heading back into something like we had, back, 10 years ago. Excuse me. I want to show you slide 43, existing home prices year over year by region. So year over year, the average home went up 13%. In the Northeast, 6.4. In the Midwest, 7.8. In the South, 16.1. And in the West, 7.7. So those are existing home prices year over year. Okay. And then the next slide I want to show you real quick is number 49. Now, I hope you guys are getting something out of this. This is really good stuff. If you're into real estate and you're thinking about buying or selling and you're just looking for some solid advice, and I hope this helps you make that decision one way or the other. We're going to talk about housing inventory here and where people are going. So here we have the map of the United States, and this is seller traffic. So where people are selling from, and so we got a lot of people here selling in Rhode Island, Wyoming, and Nevada. Okay. And then you can see some of the states where there's not as much activity, the ones that are dark gray. Let's see here, South Dakota, it looks like. Anyway, this is seller traffic where sales are coming from. That's number 50. Actually, 51 was the slide that I wanted right here. This is months of inventory for homes for sale today. So this tells us how many months of inventory are on the market. And from 2011, you can see we had 9.5 months of inventory, and that would make it a what? That's right, a buyer's market. And today we're down here at less than, this is across the nation, less than 2.5 months of inventory ending December. And that would make it, that's right, a seller's market, okay, due to months of homes for sale for your inventory, all right? 52 is a great slide as well. This also tells us the months of home amount of inventory of homes for sale since going back to 2019. So you can see 3.8, 4.3, 4.6, and then right here as COVID hit right here and right here, you can see right here, January, February, March, look at that, the inventory sunk. Now it's starting to slightly raise, but we're still only at, this slide is at the end of October because it takes a little while for the data to catch up. You're at 2.4 months of inventory, which makes it a seller's market. All right, so I want to get you guys to slide 53, and then we're almost done wrapping this up. Months of inventory again, right here, you can see the months going from year to year, 2.3 down to 1.9, back to 2.4, ending in October. All right. And I do want to talk about this slide here on number 58. So this is buyer demand, okay? So showing activity typically slows in the fall, but as the showing index has shown, we've seen buyer demand remain strong in many markets throughout the country to reverse the seasonal trend. Last fall, we saw an unparalleled rise in buyer demand, which makes October year-over-year gains all the more impressive. All right. This is just showing buyer traffic. Where are the buyers? Anything in blue or dark blue is super strong. So you can see the whole South region, a lot of people buying down south. Up in the Midwest, Montana, South Dakota, Wyoming, Washington, Oregon, we got Maine, Rhode Island, Connecticut, and Mass was in the green, which is stable, okay? So this is just an indication of where the buyers are taking their hard-earned money and buying property. All right, a couple more slides for you guys, and we're gonna wrap it up. Slide 61, interest rates. We talked about that earlier. This is a little bit more in depth. This is a 30-year fixed year mortgage. We ended at 3.1 for December. But look at this. These are 2004, right? Look at these interest rates. I'm sorry. This is October. So you can see they started up here around 5%, and they've been slowly going down. They raised up a little bit, and now we're down here ending at 3.1. Okay. 30-year fixed rate, we talked about that, 3.1. And then these are like more of the averages for projections for mortgages. The average was 3.7 with an average from Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, MBA, and NAR. 3.7 they're predicting for the end of the year. Okay. Let's go to just slide 65. Again, these are some interest rates that are shown over the years, what's been happening, 2016. All right. 17, 18, they were a little higher. 19, 20, 21, 22. So 21, we're right here at 3.11, and this is the curve that they're predicting for 2022. All right. Let's get to 2 more slides, and then we'll call it a day, guys, okay? Number 70. Average days to close a loan. So this is a good question. So people say, how long is it going to take me if I buy a house? How long is it going to take to close a loan? And it fluctuates. It's been averaging about 52 days. But as of September of 2021, the average days to close a loan is 47 days. So if you buy a house, there's a good chance that you'll be in it in 47 days or less. If you pay cash, it could be as low as 2 or 3 weeks. All right, let's just go to slide 73 and call it a day. This is the average FICO score throughout the mortgage industry. What's people's average FICO score? Because people ask me all the time, what do I need for a FICO score? So these are average FICO scores for closed purchases by the loan type. So there's different types of loans, right? You got all the loans, you have conventional loans. We're not going to get into the type of different loans right now, but there's conventional loans, then there's FHA, which is the loans that are backed by the government, and then you have your VA loans or veteran loans. All right. So if you're taking a loan and it's going to be a VA loan, then this slide is telling us that you would need an average FICO score of 720. If you're doing an FHA loan with 3.5% down, government-backed loan, which a lot of people are doing right now because it's a great opportunity to get in to buy a house for short money down, you would need a FICO score of about 676. All right. Conventional loan, a little more money down. Some of them, you don't have the PMI charge and whatnot. You would need a average FICO of about 755. And then you have all the loans combined as an average of 740. So if you're going to take an FHA, 676, VA, 720, and a conventional loan at 755. So that sums up the state of the market for December of 2021. We look forward to doing these every single month for state of the market. I know this one took a little bit longer than normal, but I just kind of wanted to cap out the year with a little bit more data and a little more information, so everybody's armed with the best possible information that they can possibly get without spending hours and hours and hours. So I really appreciate you guys tuning in. If you have any questions, again, you guys got my number. My door is always open, and we answer small questions, large, big questions, whatever it is, no problem. Give us a call, 508-566-0051. Shoot me an email at sjzano@gmail.com. Incidentally, if you like what we're doing, please Check out our Facebook page. We have a business page. Check out our YouTube page. Give us some thumbs up and some hearts. Send us a question or a text or an email. If you have a question about something, we'll be more than happy to answer that for you. But that's it for today. We're going to wrap it up. December 2021 State of the Market coming at you, Scott Zana Realty Group. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And have a great day. And we'll talk to you soon.